Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to talk about the January Battle Pass and most importantly, what is the tank we're all expecting. So let's not lose too much time and jump directly into it. This, guys, is the tank you are looking for. It's called the Jagdpanzer IV Steampunk, and if you're not blind, you already know what tank it's based on. It's the Jagdpanzer IV, which is a tier 6 from the German tech trade. And if you look closely on those 4 photos I have of the tank, you will see a big similarity with one of the Battle Pass tank, which is the Icebreaker. It really looks like both tanks are coming up from the same imaginary world, which is kind of cool, but also maybe shows us that Wargaming is running out of ideas when it comes to Battle Pass aesthetic. But hey, aesthetic is something, but what about the statistics? When we take a look at the Jagdpanzer IV, we will see that among the tier 6, it's the one that has the best gun, because you feature nearly 3,000 DPM, which is just for a tier 6 ridiculous. On top of that, the aim time is on point, even if your gun dispersion is only 0.32. For the rest of the statistics, everything is perfect. Now, for the mobility, it's the same. You can climb up to 45 kilometers per hour and you will get there pretty soon. On top of that, a great travel speed. The only thing lacking on the Jagdpanzer IV would be probably that it doesn't feature any armor. Obviously, as the Jagdpanzer Steampunk is not available yet, we're gonna have to take a look at it through the eye scope of the regular Jagdpanzer. What do I have to say about this one? It's kind of specific, because when you're top tier, obviously with 3000 DPM at tier 6, you will rule the matchmaking. You will be able to destroy every single target, and even if you're in a 1 versus 2 situation and they are pushing you and there is no way for you to bounce any shells, if you are fast enough and focusing the fire on the right people, you can easily win. Now, that being said, I don't feel like the Jagdpanzer IV is a tank that is made for everyone, because yes, having 3k DPM is one thing, but being punished for every single mistake you make is another. On top of that, something to mention about the tank that the statistics will not tell you is that it is extremely weak when it comes to its ammo rack. Usually, as the ammo rack is located at the front, you will get ammo rack, or at least getting your racks damaged, etc, etc, which can be kind of frustrating, because obviously when you lose your ammo rack, or when it's damaged, because obviously when you lose it you die, but when it's damaged you are gonna lose 50% of your reload time, which means that from 3k DPM you go straight to 1.5k. And with the Jagdpanzer, if you don't have access to that precious DPM, let me tell you, that tank is worthless. Of course, 1.5k DPM would still be enough to do the job of the regular tier 6, but you are not here to do the regular job of a tier 6. You are here to completely rake your opponents, and with 225 alpha damage per shell and of course 4.5 seconds of reload, this is something quite easily to do. As you can see right there, I'm not even struggling, that I'm already doing more than 1k damage and 3 kills. Of course, it's gonna climb up right after, but at tier 6 it's kind of hard to get a 3k damage game, especially when your teammates are doing the job. Now, of course, there will be differences between the Steampunk and the regular Jagdpanzer. The main one being that I feel like the Jagdpanzer IV will keep its great DPM, whereas it will be reduced on the Steampunk version. Simply because if we based ourselves on what Wargaming did with the Icebreaker, and if we compare the statistics from both premiums, they were the premium the Icebreaker was mounted on, which is the Tiger, the tier 6 Tiger that I forgot the name of, the Japanese one, you will see that, well, both tanks are similar while being different at the same time. But let's take a look at the statistics for you to understand. For the steampunk version of the Tiger, so the icebreaker, which was based on the Tiger 131, the Japanese Tiger that was gifted by the Germans to the Japanese people. Let's say that you see that even if the DPM are quite close, which is normal because there is not a huge gap between the Tiger and the other tanks at tier 6 when it comes to the DPM, you will see that still the DPM of the icebreaker is a little bit lower. And that explains because it has a better armor than the Tiger 131, because with the icebreaker, your lower plate is a little bit more armored, if I'm not mistaken, something like 15-20 millimeters of thickness. And of course, it does a huge difference on its playstyle, because with the icebreaker, you have the possibility of rolling a little bit better than you could with the Tiger 131. And if we respect that principle and expect Wargaming to do the same with the Jagdpanzer IV Steampunk, we could expect the Steampunk to have more armor and a little bit of a less DPM, maybe something like 2.3, 2.4K, and a great armor profile, or at least a better one. And if it's the case, I feel like it would be a better version of the tech tree, because yes, having DPM is something, but being able to roll is priceless. But of course, we don't know anything about it yet. We don't have access to the statistics, and we will have to wait for the upcoming update, which will be coming before Christmas, in order for us to get access to the tank. Because usually, Wargaming adds the Battlepass tank, the update before the release, and here obviously it would be December. So we'll have to wait, we'll have to see, and finally maybe we will know if it's worth it or not to get your hands on that specificity, which in my opinion would always be worth it, because keep in mind guys that all battle pass are worth it, because for $5 you can get plenty of rewards. And here specifically the tank looks really cool and also should be really cool to play with. So hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and personally I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.